Hello, we're back at the white desk. Hands. But today we don't have an actual piece of paper to paint on. I mean, there's lots of times we don't have an actual paper to paint on. We've had shoes, we've had milk boxes, and I don't even remember what else. But this time, it's wood. Basically, when I was gone, I found this thingy called a woodcraft construction kit with this house. And I honestly didn't like the painting on this thing, and I figured, you know what, I think I can paint it better. So I bought it. And that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna, first of all, construct the house, because that's part of the thing. And then paint it. I'm gonna look forward more to the painting rather than the construction, because I think the construction might take some time. Anyway, let's go. Step one was not construction, but to take the cover off, which I struggled with a bit more than I should have. I didn't realize that I had a knife, just that I could cut through this thing. It took me a little long. I had one sheet of instructions, which were half in Chinese and half in English. Basically, I was supposed to number match the different pieces and join together the pieces that corresponded number-wise. First it took me a little while to figure out which sheet was which because, well, I didn't expect the instructions to be like this. Let me read out the instructions as well. Number 1, push out each pre-stamped piece. Number 2, before assembly, smooth all the rough edges with the enclosed sandpaper. Disclaimer, there was no enclosed sandpaper. Number 3, get a general idea of where the parts go. And number 4, pick up two pieces which correspond to each other by number and assemble. If connecting points is loose, use glue. So I didn't follow the instructions. I mean, the only part of the instructions I did follow was to pick up two pieces which correspond to each other by number and assemble them, because there was no other way to do that. It was really confusing, to be honest. I literally rebuilt the house 3 times. The first time, everything I put was inverted. So like, pieces that were supposed to face outwards, I made them face inwards. The pieces that were supposed to face inwards, I put them outwards. Then also, taking the pieces out was such a problem. My thumb was hurting at the end of this with all the pushing out I had to do. This one piece that I'm struggling with right now, I ended up having to stab it with my paper knife to get anything done. Like, honestly, I'm not even sure what to say. I was just confused. I put the pieces that were supposed to go in the front at the back, the ones at the back and the front. It was so confusing. I have made things like this before, so this wasn't the first time I'm doing something. I haven't made it with wood, I made it out of paper, but it's not that different. It's just these instructions were odd, and they didn't tell you anything about direction. You just had to figure it out yourself, basically. And there was no sandpaper, which meant some pieces were slightly bigger than others, bigger than they were supposed to be, so I had to get my own sandpaper and then sand it down like I'm doing here. It was annoying. I was so confused, honestly. We just skipped to the part where I got that part done, and we got to the more interesting part because I struggled with that piece for quite some time. I ended up gluing it. It's glued on now, so it won't fall off again. I finally got it right. I finally got it right. These few pieces I ended up having to glue on right in the end after I'd painted the whole thing because they weren't staying at all. The instructions did say if it doesn't stay, attach it with glue. So, see, I got my knife head stuck in the wood just in an attempt to get the pieces out. And it was only after I had to stab it a couple more times, and it was then that the thing came out. Like, it was just... It was so confusing and really funny to watch. Anyone watching me was just like, what in the world is she doing? So I'm gonna be clearing up now. It's the instructions. I'm gonna keep this for reference. And that's mess. How absolutely wonderful. Anyway, here's the house. important part. I'm going to put these two last few pieces kind of in the end after I'm going to have to glue it. So I'm going to paint it first, probably going to take it apart a little bit and then paint it so that I can get the color everywhere nicely. And then glue this on after that. But honestly, it's done. That was scarring. Now finally, at long last, after a couple of hours, I can finally get to the fun part. The painting. I've been looking forward to this since I started making it. Actually, not since I started making it, since I actually saw this thing in the first place. Because honestly, the picture was just uninspiring. I'm like, this... it looks boring. I can make it better. So that's what I tried to do. Emphasis on tried. I mean, some people might think the packaging was better. I think this is better. It's your opinion. Step 1 was obviously to paint it white so that I wouldn't be painting on a brown surface. Also, wood absorbs a lot of paint, so like a lot of white paint finished in this process. Like quite a bit. I had to take the pieces apart and paint them separately because I didn't want any red paint coming on the white parts and white paint coming on the red parts. Just to paint it evenly and properly, I just did that. In the process, I did make my hands very messy and my desk. You'll see right at the end how messy my desk really was. I also decided to make this whole cottage like have a brick design on it, brick pattern, because that was the kind of cottage we were staying in when I was up north. So I figured, you know, let's make it similar to that. Not completely similar. That house does not have a red roof, but the brick design at least, I liked it. I did struggle at first with how I should make it. I tried using Posca pens or just paint markers. That did not go well. So I just figured, let's stick to paint, let's stick to what I know, and enjoy that. And painting the same brick pattern on a house, 4 sides, takes long. Just in case you're thinking of doing it, it takes long. I was always working like a machine. Make straight lines, make divisions between the lines, put gray on one side, put white on one side, blend, move on. It's like working in a robotic manner. I personally prefer those red bricks but I didn't really see any red brick houses where I went, and I wanted to channel that kind of energy to this house, so I didn't go with red brick. That would have been a very interesting, very red house if I'd gone for red brick and a red roof, so I'm kind of happy I didn't do red bricks. Make sure to check out my last week's video where I painted literally in the middle of a forest. The link is in the description and up in the card if you want to check it out. Here we go with the roof. This was my first attempt at Posca, it didn't work. So I'm just showing you that I attempted it. It didn't go well. Then I figured, let's stick to paints. Let's go with what I know. I decided that for the house, I should have just gone with that. For the roof as well, but I didn't. I don't know why, but I did. The roof was more fun to do than the bricks because there was less surface area to paint, and also it was a brighter, more lively color. I'm in this mood right now where I want everything to be really bright and really colorful, so painting those bricks with white and gray was kind of boring. While painting the red roof, I was watching Jazz's using every red art supply I own video, which is kind of funny. I'll link that in the description and up in the card if there's space in the card still. It was honestly overall a really long painting process because the wood made it take kind of long, and then the details as well themselves were kind of lengthier. here as well. I'd ended up making it a robotic way of painting. Use dark red, but light red, blend them, add lines, make the lines refined. End of story. Move on. I was looking forward to painting on the greenery or the details or like, nicer, prettier stuff on the house because I was sick of the same tiles and bricks and same color. I wanted something more interesting. Here we go. I figured that the greenery should be done with Posca pens. I was right this time. I was right. It worked. It did go well. I made cute potted plants and lots of greenery, bushes, flowers, hanging plants as well. This was fun. It took the least amount of time, but I enjoyed it. So here we have our final piece. Stay there. So we have our final piece here. I kind of realized slightly late that my camera's battery had run out, so I wasn't able to record the whole thing. I just want to show you guys I added plants, the details for that at the back. I put all the pieces back on, obviously, duh. But I was kind of being impatient because I was like, I need to see how this house looks now. I couldn't wait for my camera to get charged, so I just did it. I glued this staircase on and that part on too because it was not staying any other way. I did the front of this thing. I'm not entirely sure about the colors. Yeah, it's fine, honestly, but by far, like 100% my favorite part is the roof. The tiled effect, it took me quite long to get, but I'm really happy that with how it eventually turned out. I'm really enjoying the whole red roof cottage thing. It reminds me of Little Red Riding Hood. Maybe the red. But I'm pretty sure the grandma's house didn't have a bright red roof, but whatever. It looks nice. It also matches my bookshelf. So this is going to go on the bookshelf. Not because I have a Red Riding Hood book there, because I am no longer of that age. My sister is though. She likes Little Red Riding Hood. Hi! Stay, house. Stay. My brother also made a bowl of this sort, like with wood. This one. Honestly, this looks much more majestic and way more difficult than this house. I spent ages on this house, like absolute ages. And then my brother walks in and he's like, wait, that is so easy. And I feel offended, like really offended. Like, oh my God, hey, look at this. This one is, there's a whole lot of glue in there if you can see. But it looks really cool. We now have two wooden, it won't stay.
You need to adjust this leg.
Still won't stay.
Stays.
There we go.
I lost it still.
Rep. Anyway, I think that's enough dramatics for one video. I hope you guys liked it and enjoyed it. See you next week with hopefully something less chaotic. Bye!
Like, share, and subscribe.
Subscribe.
Bye!